This is a brief demonstration to show you how to integrate MetalShop Pro to work with a financial system in the office of your scrapyard. I'm going to bring you through the brief process of a customer bringing you metal, weighing it, and then the yard guy communicating with the clerk in the office to process the order and also to make a payment and enter the items into inventory. Alright, this is a brief outline I'm going to follow here. I'm going to show you how to sell goods to the mill and then show your business accounts also. We're going to start with MetalShop Pro is an Android program that will operate on any cell phone. Right here I'm going to display this on a Nexus 1 emulator. So I'm going to start MetalShop. And a customer pulls into your yard and they have a truck full of metal. We're going to enter a new customer into the system, and this is going to be used by a yard worker on a handheld device. Any Android cell phone or a Pan Digital tablet. It works with any device, any Android device. So we're going to enter Fred Flintstone is the customer's name, and instead of address here, some scrapyards find it useful to put driver's license or license plate number that's on the car that they brought the metal with. I'm going to save this. You can just hit the backspace to get rid of that keyboard. That's the dynamic keyboard that comes up because there's really no keys on Android phones or tablets. Now we have the customer entered in here. Now we're going to add some items. He brought us some steel, number 1, which could be cars or whatever. It's $175 a ton. And we could put this quantity in either as pounds or tons. So I'm going to put it in as tons. They had 1.65 tons. Change that to ton. Get rid of that keyboard again. Hit save. Now you notice they have one item on the list, and total is $288.75 that we're going to need to pay that customer so far. They also brought some copper in, so I'm going to put a new item there and choose copper, number 1. And they had 50 pounds of copper. So I'm going to save that item. And now you notice they have 2 items here, steel and copper, number 1. The total amount to be paid to that customer is $448.75. Now the transaction with them is complete. They have no more metal to weigh, and it's time for them to get paid now. So obviously the guy in the yard doesn't pay them, so they need to go to the office to get paid. So being that this is a handheld device and the guy in the yard is walking around with it, it's not really attached to a computer or anything. It's on the local area network, or it could be on 4G network. But anyways, you can send all those transactions to the office with an email. So I'm going to say yes to send. Email. This is only unformatted here because of the small screen. It'll be formatted properly when it's received in the office. So you hit send, and it sends that invoice to the office to be paid. Okay, once the yard worker sends the email to the office, retrieving it is as easy as calling up whatever email reader you're using. Go into your inbox. We have the one invoice here for Fred Flintstone, and we can pull that up, and it shows the items that he sold to the scrapyard. Steel number 1, 1.65 tons, and copper number 1, 50 pounds. We can then go to OpenBravo, which is the financial system that is integrated to work with MetalShop Pro, and we can search for the customer first, and in this system that would be under business partner. Okay, in this instance Fred Flintstone is not in the system, so we have to add him as a business partner. We're just going to choose create a new record, and we just put in Fred Flintstone. We could just put the basic information here. I'm going to choose his business partner category is he's a metal supplier because we buy metal from him, and then save that. He's a customer because he might buy stuff from us, but also he's a vendor because we buy stuff from him. So we're just going to choose vendor, and then we're going to use our price list, MetalShop Pro price list, and then save that, and the customer is now entered. One other item that you may want to do is some scrapyards require each customer to give a photocopy of their driver's license. If that's the case, you can attach that scan right here to this record, and I'm just going to choose any one of these mock driver's license that I have over here. This guy from Texas or Nevada, and submit. And then you notice it has the file right there, so at any time you could go back and look at his driver's license or print it out or download it, and then you notice it goes right to your downloads. Okay, now that we have Fred Flintstone entered into the system, the next step is to pay him, and in order to do that we first have to create a purchase invoice, and that can be done from the workspace. Here just type in purchase invoice, pop up, and it creates a new one for us. We can choose the business partner is Fred Flintstone, puts his address in, and now we can choose down here, we'll first save that, and then we'll choose lines, and this is the items that we're going to put from this email that was sent from the yard: steel 1.65 tons and copper number 1 50 pounds. Okay, so we just choose new on lines, and then we choose product steel number 1. It's defined as $175 per ton in the system. That was predefined, and he had 1.65, and in this case we're going to choose exempt, no sales tax. You can maximize this if you want. Save the line, and you notice the line net amount was $288.75. That should match what we had on the mobile unit that the scrapyard guy uses. And here next on line is we choose new, and we have to put the copper number 1 50 pounds, invoice quantity 50 pounds. You notice the unit of measurement here is pound, and it's $2.95 a pound. Ooh. Yep, you do have to do this every time. Enter which tax, and then save. And now that invoice is complete, so we just choose complete, complete, and we can add a payment in or out. So now we're going to pay the customer. It automatically comes with the predefined bank account and accounting information, but if you notice the amount here is $436.25. Payment out is down here, and then we're going to process. And now that information goes over to the financial side of OpenBravo. Okay, before we receive those goods into inventory, I want to do a stock report to show you where the stock values are currently at. And actually the best way to get to there is from application, warehouse management, analysis tools, and then stock report. And we're just going to view it in HTML format and take everything. These are currently the items. These are the products that have stock in their warehouses. This is all defined in the system. You notice steel number 1 has 3.4 in, actually this is in the wrong place, but it should be here in the scrapyard. Steel number 1 in the scrapyard in row 4 has 1.67. So that's where we're going to put this inventory. Okay, I'm going to do a goods receipt. And we got the metal from Fred Flintstone. And we're going to create the lines of this good receipt from the invoice. So we're going to choose, this invoice was the last invoice we made, business partner Fred Flintstone. And we're going to choose these two items. It was a 1.65 ton and 50 pounds. We're going to say where we're going to put it into. So in this case is steel number 1 is going to go out to the scrap yard. It's going to go in the scrap pile because it was probably a car or something. We'll choose OK on that. And we're going to give it the attribute ferrous metal because it's steel. And then we're going to put this copper in the garage in the back. So I have to do a search for that area. Garage, back room. And we're going to give the attribute copper. Choose OK. Those two items are now ready to go in the system. So we complete it. And we go back and do a stock report again. And you notice that the area for steel number 1 went to 3.32 and copper number 1 went up to 500. Okay, in order to complete the business cycle, I'm going to show you real quick how to create a sales invoice. That means you would be bringing metal to the mill and selling your goods, and you're going to receive payment, and then you're going to remove the inventory from the warehouse or from the scrap yard. You could start that by creating a new sales invoice. And for this instance, we're going to choose the business partner is going to be Upstate Metals. And we're going to create a new line item for the invoice. And the product is going to be steel number 1. But if you notice, the price comes from our price list. This is not what we're getting paid for. So what we have to do is we have to do a search for that product. We're going to choose Upstate Metals price list, and then we're going to choose steel number 1, If you notice, it has net unit price of 300. Choose OK, and that changes the net unit price. Now we had 9 tons on hand, so I'm going to choose 9 there and hit OK. It's about half a truckload, and then I'm going to complete the invoice. Now the metal's already been delivered, we've already received payment, so I'm just going to add payment in for a total of $2,700. We could process that. And now the payment has gone into our financial system. Okay, now that we have the sales invoice created and we've received payment from Upstate Metals, we need to create a goods shipment record. So to do that, we click New there, choose the proper business partner and delivery location. Okay, save that record, and then here we're going to create a new line. We're going to do a search for the product, and the first place that we're going to take steel number 1 from is this garage back room. It has 3.4 tons on hand. We're going to remove all 3.4 tons, so we hit save on that, choose new. And the second place we're going to get steel from was bin A. Has 3 tons on hand. We completely emptied the bin, so we'll move 3 tons on that. And then the third and the final place that we're going to remove steel from is going to be the scrap yard. Even though it was steel number 1 coming from the steel 2 pile, could be because it was cars or something like that, kept outdoors. And we're just going to remove 2.6 tons from this because we shipped a total of 9 tons to Upstate Metals. Okay, with that complete, that completes our shipment, so we just hit complete there. And if you notice now, when we do a stock report, those items have been removed that are empty, and steel number 1 still has 0.72 tons of scrap in the pile as number 1. And that completes that.